My book is multiculturalism, and actually the new publication last month is the second edition. It first came out in 2007, and it was in a series where it was just meant to be like intellectual interventions into contemporary debates. It was in a series called Themes of the 21st Century. And I deliberately write in a kind of non-academic, non-jargonistic style. And what happened was that the book was, as it were, too easy to read. And a lot of people have put it on their courses as a course book. And so it has sold more copies than the publisher ever anticipated, because they just thought, oh, a few scholars will read this. But in fact, you know, every year it's been purchased by students for their courses. So the publisher came back to me and said, can we do a second edition because it's doing so well? And I said, okay, and I've added 2 new chapters which both help to update the book and take my argument about what is multiculturalism, especially in Western Europe, and why I believe that Muslims are central to our understanding of what multiculturalism means in Western Europe, allows me to take that argument further. The first chapter is related to the talk I gave at the SOAS conference today, and it's about showing how multiculturalism is not opposed to integration because it is actually a mode of integration. So I develop an analytical framework for integration, for understanding different modes of integration. Like assimilation can be one mode of integration. And I show that multiculturalism is also a mode of integration, and interestingly, that it shares ideas with assimilation. So critics of multiculturalism and multiculturalists share the same core ideas. And these core ideas are liberty, equality, and fraternity, namely the very well-known core ideas of democracy. So I show that multiculturalism, assimilation, and other modes of integration offer different takes on these central democratic ideas. I would say that the main findings are that if we understand multiculturalism as I understand it, then many of the criticisms of multiculturalism are shown to be wrong-headed or irrelevant. For instance, the argument that it is relativist. No, it's not. It's based on universalist ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The suggestion that it's against integration and for separatism. No, it certainly isn't. It's about how to include people in an ongoing national polity, but in the spirit of equality, and an equality which allows them to rethink and remake the national identity rather than to passively conform to an existing conception of what it is to be British or French or German. I would say my third core key finding, on which I devote 1 or 2 chapters of the book, is that the current frontier of debate about multiculturalism is really now secularism. Multiculturalism started off talking about ethnic minorities and in some countries linguistic minorities, but really now it's very much focused about religious minorities, above all Muslims, and their place in public life and their political status. And so therefore questions about secularism, meaning the relationship between religion and the state, religion and politics, is now, I would say, the largest challenge that multiculturalism is posing to us, both as intellectuals and as citizens. My takeaway message would be that you should read multiculturalism, because I'm an advocate of multiculturalism, and you shouldn't allow critics of multiculturalism to define multiculturalism. That is as absurd as trying to find out what feminism is by reading critics of feminists.